Hi everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new here, welcome back to my channel if you're a returning viewer or subscriber. Today's video might look a little bit different because I'm using my big DSLR camera to film this. It hasn't been working for a number of years. I think I finally figured out what's wrong with it, so hopefully the quality should be a little bit better. I've got to train myself to look straight at the lens because my viewfinder is off to the side, but other than that, it should be better. Today's video is really exciting because I'm filming the, what is this even called? The end of the beginning of the year book tag, 2024 beginning of the year book tag, I don't know. Larry recently posted this video. I love Larry's channel, she's amazing, check her out if you haven't already. But I thought that'd be fun to answer these questions and see what my take on them are. How many books are you planning on reading this year? Last year I set my goal at 23 books just because we were in 2023, but I did read 61 books. This year I'm going to set it at 24, not 2024, not 2024 books, just because I want to be tackling some bigger reads. So I think that yes, I should read more than 24, but I also think that I want to be not kind of like aiming for quantity. I want like quantity of pages, not quantity of books, if that makes any sense. But so far I've read I think 7 or 8 or something like that, so yeah, I'm definitely on track for my 24. The most anticipated release you have for 2024, so my biggest anticipated release is Crescent City 3, and that has already come out. I think it was January 30th. I'm partway through the second book in that series. I really enjoyed the first book. I gave it 4 stars. It's not my favourite of Sarah J Maas's series, but it's still very much up there, so that was my kind of like most anticipated release of 2024. Now that that's over, we do have another Annie Ono coming, a new translation from the French into English. I think it's a woman's story, something like that, but I'm really excited for that one, just to be like present for a new Annie Ono because she's one of my favourite authors. A book on your physical TBR that you probably won't ever read. In general, I want to read everything I own just because I do purchase books with the idea of eventually reading them. I'm sure like most of you out there. But the one book that, you know, if I had to like find something for this question, I chose Rich People Problems by Kevin Kwan, third book in the Crazy Rich Asians series. I bought this book years ago when Reagan from Peru's Project, I think that's her channel name, I'll have a link down below. She loved this series and she really inspired me to pick the books up after I didn't really get on with the film too well. I'm excited to read this series, but I think my excitement's just dipped off the longer I've put it off. I might read the first book, not love it, and then not want to continue the series, but I did buy them in like a little 3-pack from eBay, so I paid basically nothing for them. The third book I might not ever get around to reading, but I definitely will give the first book a go. A new genre that you'd like to try more of, not necessarily like a new genre, but a genre that I haven't really delved into too much before, and that is mystery thrillers. I own a couple of them and I definitely need to get around to reading them. The few that I've read in my life I've really enjoyed, and I just feel like this could be a fun new place to explore. And the full-on question from that one is what book kind of inspired you to want to pick up a mystery thriller? I read a book called The Disappearing Act by Catherine Steadman last year and I really enjoyed that. It was a 3.5-star read for me, but the main problem I had with it was just that I didn't really love the ending. If I read more mystery thrillers, they could be exciting reads, and they're really quick reads as well because you want to know what happened, obviously. For a book I'm most likely to reread, we have Akatar by Sarah J Maas, The Court of Thorns and Roses. I have read the series already, obviously, because I want to reread this. I recently bought myself the new cover. I've read from the original covers, you can see behind me. I wanted to buy myself the new covers so that I could annotate them because I do have like too much sentimental attachment to the original covers to like want to mark them. I do want to definitely reread this at some point. I'm not sure when I'm gonna get around to it, but maybe this year could be fun. This is my favourite ever fantasy series and I haven't read this particular book since 2016, I think it was 2016, and I just loved every second of it, so that is definitely a book for sure that I want to reread. A book you wanted to get to in 2023 but you didn't, so you set it as a priority in 2024. Not necessarily a priority, but I did go through my little 2023 TBR. There were about 3 books I didn't get to out of those 15 I think there were, and one of them was My Body by Emily Ratter on Instagram, that's her at. I picked this book up because I've heard so many good things. I found this beautiful signed hardcover on Depop, very fun. It's got like the little signed plate there. I love the cover of the hardcover edition because I love this like nude with the purple and the kind of peachy coral colour. I think it's such a beautiful looking book. Apart from that, I've heard brilliant things about it and I'm excited to kind of check out her writing and see what she has to say. I think it'd be a really eye-opening book because obviously she's like an Instagram model and just a model in general. A lot of the emphasis on her is on her body. For a series I want to read this year, I'm gonna say Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I've read The Assassin's Blade, I've read Throne of Glass, but I own Crown of Midnight and Air of Fire and I haven't got those 2 titles yet. I really loved The Assassin's Blade and I liked Throne of Glass. I wasn't obsessed with it, but it was still a fun time, and I think as we go throughout the series it could get really good. So I think for now I'm gonna say the Throne of Glass series I'd like to kind of dip my toe into further. Whether I want to reread the first book might be a good idea because I haven't read it in like a year. I will hopefully be getting to at least Crown of Midnight in 2024. I love the Avatar series, so I'm sure That Throne of Glass will be another favourite. What's an author that you've never read before but you'd like to read the first time this year? I'm going to say Clarice Lispector. I own 3 of her books. She was a very, very iconic writer of like magical realism and literary fiction, those kind of genres, and I've heard nothing but incredible things about her writing. She's got a very unique kind of experimental writing style, and people tend to literally obsess over her stuff. It becomes like some of their favourite books. I own Near the Wild Heart, Agua Viva and The Passion According to GH. So I'd love to pick up at least Near the Wild Heart. That's the book that I was recommended to start with, and it's actually on my 2024 TBR as well. Hopefully that will be one that I get to at some point in the year. And on the other side of that, we have an author you won't be reading anymore from, and I've got a couple of authors that I just have not gotten well with their stuff, but I'm going to say Anna Huang. I read the first 2 books of the Twisted series, and I've heard that her other really popular series, I think The Kings of Sin or something like that, that series is basically just copy paste of the Twisted series, and I feel like if I didn't get on with the Twisted series, then like why would I bother reading that? Twisted series is just such a no for me. That's not the style of romance books I love, so unfortunately we're going to say Anna Huang for this. But who knows, maybe she'll come out with something in the future that will really kind of interest me. I'm not writing her off. If I have to give an author, that's who I'd probably say for this question. A popular book that you want to read, we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is the first book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I've read the Caraval series. I'm up to the final book in that finale, and as soon as I'm done with that, then I want to pick up this one. And again, this is on my 2024 TBR. The most beautiful cover ever, one of my favourites. I've heard nothing but good things about this, and basically every single person I know has read it, so definitely a popular book that I'm going to read this year. And then on the other side of that, we have a non-popular book that you want to read. I know this book was kind of popular when it first came out many years ago, but I haven't heard so many good things or so many things at all about it recently. We've got Graceling by Kristen Cashore. I know that Sarah from Sarah Crowley read it. She liked this one, but I don't think she was like obsessed with it, but she did enjoy it. Usually when Sarah reads a book, everyone starts reading it, but I haven't had anyone talk about this one from her recommendation. But I own the first 3 books. I got them from the Works, like 2 for 3 deal, whatever it is. So I definitely want to read at least this first one and see how I get on with it. But yes, that is Graceling. I love these covers. So beautiful and like really floppy and lovely. But yeah, YA fantasy. I don't love YA fantasy as much as I used to because I'm obviously past the age of that a little bit and I just don't connect with it. This seems fun. I really love just like traditional fantasy, and this seems like it might be a little bit like that. I'll let you know how I find it, obviously. For an audiobook I want to listen to, we're talking about Spotify, so I'm going to say The 7 Year Slip. That's one that I found on there. I've heard good things about the audiobook, great things about the book overall, so that's an option. That's by Ashley Poston, I believe. And then we have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I thought this would be fun as well. This is also on Spotify. I find that I take a long time to read Emily Henry's works, but I want to read more of them. I've read Beach Read and You and Me on Vacation so far. An audiobook route could be kind of fun for this one. I might listen as I read along, but either way, this is a potential audiobook listen. For a book you want to read based on the cover, I chose The Woman Destroyed by Simone de Beauvoir. I really wanted to read de Beauvoir's work, but when I saw this cover on Instagram, I think it was Instagram first of all, it's just incredible. This is the most striking, beautiful thing. The colours, the graphic, the kind of like I was going to say texture, that's an Australian word, like felt tip writing, whitewood marker almost. So much fun. I went out of my way to kind of like source this US edition, paid too much for it probably, but I've heard so many good things about the stories within this. It's a bunch of short stories all about women and their lives, them struggling, you know, trying to survive. Interesting read, but also just like the most beautiful piece to have on my shelf. I love this cover immensely, and if I read it and love it, then I shall end up displaying it. I didn't buy that solely based on the cover. I don't just like see a beautiful cover, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get that book. I do obviously look into reviews and synopses and stuff like that, but with that one, it kind of just married up. Loved the cover, but also was interested in the contents of the book. A book to TV adaptation you'd like to see this year? There's nothing kind of like coming out that I'm really excited about, and this isn't TV, it's a film, but I'm gonna say Eileen by Tessa Moshfegh. I've read a couple of her works. I've read My Rest and Relaxation, I've read Lapvona. Mixed reviews on those, but I definitely want to read more of her work. I want to kind of read all of it. And Eileen's next up for me, and it's recently been adapted into a film. I don't know whether it came out at the beginning of this year or last year. It might have been the beginning of this year within the UK, but last year within America. I've also heard that it's a really loyal adaptation. It just like captures the essence and the vibe of the story. A good inspiration to like read the book and see how I find the movie. Something bookish I want to start doing this year. I'm going to say I would love to film a bookshelf tour. I've got these two in my room, and I've also got a big one out in the corridor with my classics and historical fiction, non-fiction, lit fic, that sort of thing. I did film a classics collection video that I'll have linked, but I do want to film a tour of these shelves. I'm going to neaten them up a little bit, and I would love to show you them because I know that I actually filmed a bookshelf tour before. I did film a video where I bought this shelf and I like reorganised everything, but other than that, you'll get to see these shelves in their full glory, so I would love to film one of those. I'd also love to film, or attempt to do, a 24-hour readathon. I think that'd be a lot of fun. There's some books that I've kind of got reserved for if I ever film one of those. I do love my sleep though, so I think that could be a little bit tough, but I think we're gonna give it a go. We'll see what the results look like. I also am not the fastest reader, so I'm not sure how that would go. Something bookish you want to stop doing this year. Forcing myself through books. Like I said, we want to be getting through fewer books this year. I don't think I'm going to be reading the 61 that I read last year, just because of the bigger books I want to read. But I also find that I tend to just like suffer through things instead of just DNFing them, putting them down when I know they're not for me. Partly because I would like to give you a review, but it's also just me, you know, seeing like the number go up on Goodreads and like getting a little kick or a little boost of serotonin from that. So I think in the future we're going to be trying not to do that. Putting books down when we know that they're not for us. And by for us, I mean for me. A 2024 bookish goal is to read more books before bed instead of watching booktube or watching YouTube in general. When I do read before bed, I find that I get a lot of reading done, so I'd like to make that my focus. I do get into bed quite early and then I just end up sitting there and like doing whatever I'm doing. Being able to like dedicate at least a couple of hours to reading every single night, I think I'd just get through so much more and be able to fully immerse myself in my books with no distraction. It also should help me with sleeping because it's really good for you to be off screens and whatever, wind down with a book. It makes you sleepy, so I think that could be a fun goal. It's one I've been kind of implementing a little bit so far. I'm not the best at it, but we're trying. A 2024 booktube goal. I'm not going to talk stats because I think it's really hard to predict that, but I'm going to say that I would like to kind of commit to my ideas. I've got so many fun ideas in planning and I think I procrastinate them because I want the videos to be really good. The videos will be better if I just like actually gave them to you. Just film the intro, get the shots, you know, read the books for the videos, things like that. So I think that is what we're going to be focusing on in terms of booktube content this year. Creative, fun ideas that have been on the back burner for a long time and I just need to like execute and present to you. That could be good. 2024 non-bookish goal. I didn't actually write anything down for this, so we're gonna have to come up with one on the spot. Catch up with my journals maybe. That's a little bit kind of booktube related because I do post some journaling content. I post my journal flip throughs, but I think that could be a fun one. But things have changed a little bit. I ran out of space on my memory card, so we're back, but we're going to move on to the next question because I don't remember what we're talking about. We only have a couple left. Describe how you'd like 2024 to go in one word. This is tricky. I think I want to be like, I don't know. Oh my gosh, this is one I should have prepared as well. I didn't prepare it there because I couldn't think of a word. Maybe we're going to say, I don't know. It's something along the lines of like fun or enjoyable or something like that because I just want to enjoy my life more. And sometimes I find that a bit hard. So we're going to say like contentment and like healing and more like energy, not good vibes and energy like, but like enthusiasm about living and doing things and being alive. I don't know what my word is. Maybe it's enthusiasm. We'll see on the screen. Booktube creators that inspire you. I'll have all their ads down below if you want to check out their channels. But so many people that I watch, so many people that inspire me, so many people whose content that don't inspire me, but like I just love to watch and I use as like entertainment. I watch booktube and YouTube in general over watching TV. So I've got so many faves and I'll have some listed down below. And the last question is something you'd want to say to someone starting a booktube account or a book account. I think it applies to everything. I wrote down in my notes like stay in your own lane, but that sounds really rude. What I mean by that is like don't be afraid to just be yourself and like what you like. People will get drawn to that. It's a big pressure to be reading things that the masses are reading because that is what gets the views and whatever. I feel like romance and like fantasy are like the big genres. Even reading outside of that, there is like a big like lit fic community. If you're just reading like the popular mainstream genres, then you're excluding yourself from those communities because they can be a little bit not judgmental but like exclusive. So I think just like love what you love and people will come from all directions. If you have a font you love or you have music that you love or anything like that, just like go for it. People will come to you. I know that these big creators like have something that we all want to have. I don't know, they use like blue text or something like that and you're like, wow, that's just like the best choice ever, like maybe I should do that. They're just doing their own thing, and if you just do your own thing then other people will look at you like you're doing something special and new and unique, because you are, because what you are bringing to the table is the reason why people want to be here, you know. Like obviously they want to hear reviews and everything like that, but like the reason they're gonna want to hear you over someone else is because of your personality and your interests and things like that. So that's my advice. I feel like I could have said that in a much simpler way, but yeah, just do your own thing and don't be afraid to do that. So there we go, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I actually managed to get through all the questions. I didn't skip out any on the way. This is a really fun tag. Thanks Larry for filming it. If you're watching this video, you're probably not because you're just she's too cool for words. This was really lovely and I hope it's given you a little bit more of an idea of my 2024 reading plans. I have filmed like a 2024 TBR like I've said, and I've mentioned general goals and things like that, but this one is like more in depth and touches on like all ranges of books and genres and things like that. So there we go. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it to let me know that you did, and I'll see you in a couple of days for a new video if you decide to stick around. Sending my love to you from here to wherever you may be in the world. Bye bye.